right, so let's just settle. Bring your mind to the same place your body is. And excuse me a sec, the microphone is a little bit squiffy. All right. And however it is you happen to be turning up tonight, whether you're feeling a little bit depressed or happy or just normal or busy or a bit angry or frustrated or whatever is going on in the mind, it's just all good, totally fine. So check your sitting posture. If you are sitting at a desk with your feet on the ground, have them in a parallel position with the knees slightly apart and the sits bones raised. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. Hands in the meditation mudra, right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. And if that's not particularly comfortable for you, if you have other ways of meditating, other ways of resting your hands, you can do that also. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. You can imagine your spine is being lengthened. So perhaps somebody is above you or behind you, very like a puppeteer, just pulling on that string. And, releasing all the muscles in the spine, putting some space in between those vertebrae. And you tip your head slightly forward. So don't just kind of flop the head forward. It's just a very slight tipping of the head forward. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth. And bring your attention to the back of the head and just release any tension there, particularly at the base of the skull, the occipital bone. Relax the ears, the inner ears, the temples, and the jaw. Relax the back of the neck. Allow your shoulders to drop down and your shoulder blades to drop down. And relax the throat, the chest, the belly, limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. Bring the mind to the breath. And just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Slightly cooler as you're breathing in, slightly warmer as you're breathing out. And if you can hear any sounds in your environment, whether they be outside or inside, just allow them to be there. Try not to follow out of curiosity, interest, inquiry, or try not to push them away if they're distracting. Just allow the sounds, part of your environment. Keep bringing the mind back to the breath. And then notice what's arising in the mind with curiosity. And just allow those thoughts. Try not to judge them, criticize, or have opinions about them. Try not to follow a story or make a story up. Just allow them to flow. You can take a seat sit back and just observe as a curious scientific observer. So we can put ourselves on the bank of our river. Just watch that river flow on by, that river of mental moments, and just know that while we're sitting on the bank watching objectively, we are free from the river. So let's just bring to mind all those people of our life, people we really love and care for very much in our hearts. And then there's those people in our life who are a little bit more difficult for us. And then there's those people who are just complete strangers for us. We don't really care about them much. We don't think about them. And however, they are all deserving equally of our concern. And why would we bother? Because, very simply, they all wish to be free from suffering. They all wish to be happy. And everybody has this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation on Vajrasattva tonight for the benefit of all these people of our life and for all sentient beings. So just remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, and we can change it by creating positivity with our mind instead. So first we come to the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we already know from our present suffering and problems that we probably don't want to invite anymore into our life. So therefore we need to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret the anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of this suffering, and then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So we rely upon the Buddha. We turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. And we're not needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And he's your guru. You can imagine this is your teacher, your lama, your trusted mentor, manifesting in this form for your benefit, this male Vajrasattva form. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. So this is just like an analogy for our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. So imagine he has a radiant, blissful, beautiful face. He has the eyes shaped like lotus petals, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So in this case, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and just have some compassion for them, because they are going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy. So this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, sort of almost like coming out of a hose or from a waterfall, just pouring down very forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you, your entire body, until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dino Patita Dita Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dino Patita Dita Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And so the next is the purification of speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra again, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown again, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech. It kind of quite forcefully overflows and disappears into space. Again, not one atom left. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying, talking badly about people behind their backs, and all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And the next is a purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and switch on a light. You just imagine the moment the light dispels the darkness and you can see everything. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of the mind, so all your depression, anxiety, attachment and neediness and grasping and bitterness and grudges and jealousy and all the disappointments, all completely dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, gone, just finished. And so I think now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is a purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva again sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely. And if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras and imagine each of those visualizations of the body and of the speech and of the mind. Or just imagine light and nectar pouring in, filling you completely, and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatra sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe So now feel you're completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is the power of resolve, and the fourth step in the purification process, and a really crucial step. And this is the determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind again. Well, probably will never be again, but we can start to chip away at those habits that we have that are harmful to ourselves and others. So bring something to mind that you want to work on between now and tomorrow. And give yourself a timeline. So, for example, I won't eat any chocolate cake for the next 24 hours because it affects my equilibrium. It makes my sugar levels rise and crash. Or I won't talk about the neighbor while I'm asleep at night because I'll be asleep. So you give yourself something that's doable, whether it be for 5 minutes or while you're asleep or for 2 seconds. So just have something. Try and when you wake up tomorrow morning, maybe it's just your project for the day. So periodically I'm going to check what's going on in my mind. I'm going to check my speech. And this in itself is just kind of amazing. So this determination to not do again is what gives us the strength to change. And imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call that union oneness. And next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. And so at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So we can think of perhaps all phenomena as being empty, they do not exist from their own side. And just imagine that perhaps the way you're thinking about things, the way you're seeing things, the way you're interpreting things, may not necessarily be the way they actually are. So let's just dedicate all the merit. Created a lot of positive energy this evening, just doing this very simple practice to the purification of doing this purification to all living beings, to ourselves, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, excuse me, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Tub Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzing Kyong Pelway Kunzo Dog Porze, Chog Sum Kurwe Legmon to a Drub, Padag Sog Dulje, Gondu Jab Ten Shog. For Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again to a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long, because you share a beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Gosh, this practice goes so fast. All right, everybody. Thank you so very much. Lots of love, sweet dreams. Thank you for hosting, Shayla, and see you tomorrow. Okay. Sleep well, everybody. Good night.